There's a lot of children here going to Billings School. I enjoyed that. I had to walk, though, in the snow and the rain, when it rained, you know. And then when we left Billingsville School, we went to Clear Creek. You may know about that. And my first cousin, used to drive the school bus that we would ride. But we had to, they lived on that end of Greertown. We lived on this end. And if we didn't make it down to his house, he'd leave us. Or he would stand out in the middle of the street and be, "Dog, you better come, I'm gonna leave you, you know. Or you better get here, 'cause don't take your time walking, you run. When you leave the house, you run. Make sure you get that bus on time." But I knew just about every family here, you know. And they used to call me that little old Pope girl.
My great-grandfather, Henry Drennan, he raised a lot of fruit trees. And we could play outside all day long and find something to eat without going in the house. We'd eat apples or pears, plums. So there was always an abundance for whoever was there. There were no restrictions.
We would be in twin beds, my sister and I and my brother, and we would play a game. And our game was naming everybody you know on Skyland. Well, at that time, it was Alpha Street. It was Grier, Skyland, Orange, Jane Avenue, Banner Circle, and they changed the names. But anyway, we had to name everybody at the first house, the mom, the dad, the children. Then the next house, the same thing. My sister and I didn't get to go all over Greertown like my brother. So we knew everybody that stayed from Grier Heights Church up and on Alpha Street, because we had to go to the store there. There was no Heflin Street. It was a white family stay, and they had that whole block. And their yard was huge. They had hedges around it, so we couldn't even go on their property. So we wasn't allowed on Orange Street. There was no Heflin Street, but we weren't allowed on Orange Street. But Jimmy Lee knew everybody that stayed in the rock apartment. He knew everybody that stayed on Goldwyn. He knew everybody that stayed on Orange Street, Jane Avenue. He knew everybody that stayed on Banner Circle. So he would always win the game.
Some of my favorite memories of being here in Grier Heights. The Grier Heights community reunion that they have is always a big affair. I mean, it is a reunion of people from the community who come back here from all places. And it takes place on Labor Day weekend. It has a parade, and so churches and other organizations and other entities are part of the parade. You know, they come with their cars, their motorcycles, horses. We have floats, you know, and we have church vans, and it is a big parade that is comparable to the same one that takes place downtown, I would say, on Labor Day weekend. And it all ends up at the park, the community park. And when we gather there, I mean, it is just hugs and love and music and food And of course, there are vendors because we try to highlight businesses that are part of this community. You have young, you have old, and it is just a big day. So that has been occurring ever since I've been here. So I look forward to being a part of that. Everybody know me as Pastor Garris, but at that time, we're just family, And anyone who comes and be a part of the reunion are received as family.
Other memories, such as the store in 1978 that my brother, James Ronald Johnson, he opened it. It was called Ron's Grocery. That particular store, it was more or less a family store. All the family worked in it, doing whatever it was that we needed to do. But the store was more than just a store because it offered tutoring to the kids. Some of the young men that would come in, he would give them advice on certain things. And the young kids who had never been out of Greertown, he would take them to the beach and expose them to that, and also would give them on-the-job experience. It was a place where if you were in the middle of the month and didn't have enough to carry you through the month, we had a book that had credit. You come in, get whatever you needed, and you got it on credit, and whenever you was able to come back, you came back through and you took your name off the book until the next time.
I made friends pretty quick. As a matter of fact, the boy's father who moved us here, he and about 2 or 3 other boys went to the movies that night. That was my first time meeting them. So, like I say, we made friends quick. And one funny thing about that was this boy named June Denton. He was on crutches, and both legs. He couldn't walk. He was on crutches, but we had to slip him back in the house when we got back from the movies because it was after hours as far as he was concerned. So we had to raise the one and slip him back in the house, I'll tell you one interesting thing about Greertown, I think, is unique. About everybody I had a nickname. I mean, most everybody had a nickname. And I thought that was, unique for the community.
The people here, they all seem like a one big happy family. We had a man here we called Uncle Doc. He used to make a garden every year and give food to the people that didn't have it. Had a big garden when you had greens and collards and just vegetables, And you could go to his garden and pick vegetables. He would charge you for them, but it wasn't very much. But he still, he'd pay attention to what you're doing, make sure you did it right, And Mama used to, between our house and the next house, she had a garden in there where she put sweet potatoes. She loved sweet potatoes. And she'd plant some every year. Mm-hmm. So, Greertown was to me, it's a wonderful place to live.
Getting up early on Saturday and Sunday mornings at the peace of the neighborhood. Nights when the stars the moon would shine so bright until it looked as if you could touch it. The smells of the fruit trees, those are the things that caught my interest.